So in this part 5, we're going to continue on, but now we're going to create a customized scale here for, or at least this customize of this item, and I will remove the tooltip for now because the tooltip is really distracting. So I'm going to scroll down here first, and let's look at tooltip, and then I'm going to say here enabled. We will set this back to false. Enabled, spelled correctly. Save, refresh. Of course, make sure we have a comma here. Save, refresh. There we are. So I want to put this in the center because you can see here it is not really center. It's like aligned to the left, and there are some options like align it to center, cross align, but it just doesn't work. So instead of figuring out how to do it, it's easier to make my own plugin. So what I'm going to do is in the option, make sure you have the options here, and then it should go here. All right, and we put comma, and I say plugins. Very important. Don't get confused with this plugin here. This is specifically for the tooltip, legend, etc., etc. And this one here is for a customized object we're going to put in here. And let's say here this will be the center scale. Not sure if that's the right term, but I guess it's alright for now. So I'm going to scroll up. And I'm going to say a constant center scale equals ID, and then center scale. And then I'm going to say when would we like to draw it. Well, very similar to the other one, to this here is a Z index. So what we're going to say here, I want to draw it after we draw the data set. So after, make sure you spell it correctly, data sets draw. So we're going to say chart, comma, arcs, and then plugins. Then in here, what I'm going to do is an object destructuring. If you don't understand object destructuring, make sure you check out my video, Understanding Chart.js Object Destructuring. It is a link is in the description box as well. So what we're going to do here is CTX, probably need the data, and we will probably need the scale X and Y. So once we have this, make sure what's going on here. Why is this one giving us a issue like that, this one, colon here, I guess. That's most important. If I save this, refresh, we still get an error. Syntax on 97, of course, function error expression. That is probably the reason. I guess colon here as well. And what am I missing here? Alright, interesting. I have a dot. There we are. So now we have this here. What I want to do is first hide these labels. We don't need this. So we're going to scroll down in the Y. Then we're going to say here in the Y scale the ticks, because that's what we want to hide, the tick labels. Say here display, set this on false, comma, save, refresh. There we are. So once we have this, what I want to do now is start to draw our own version of it. So I'm going to scroll up again, go back in our plugin, and I'm going to start working on that. So what I really want to do here basically is two things. We're going to create a basically a rectangle with rounded borders. I guess we can do that first, and afterwards we're going to create our text labels. So what I'm going to say here is CTX, then begin path. And what this does is indicate that we're going to create now a custom shape that is independent of anything else to avoid the bleed over effect. So if you don't know about that, I talk quite often. In Canvas, it tends to translate certain values or certain colors to other shapes. You want to avoid that. Use this begin path to make sure that it's only for this specific shape. Alright, so then what I want to do here is, let's see here, we're going to say here the CTX, and we're going to say here the round rectangle. And what this round rectangle does is, or round rec, allows us to create a rectangle, and we can define how many pixels in rounded borders we want to set. So here are 5 values in here: the X, Y, the width, height, and then the radius or rounded border radius basically. So in here we can now quickly get the values because we want to have one at a time. So we know, first of all, if we want to make sure it's always on the X scale on value 0. Remember, this is still negative and this is positive. This is very important to understand because this is just cosmetically, so for the eye only, it's look like a positive value, but it's not. So we're going to say here, and this is the reason why we have the scale.x. say x dot get pixel for value, and then we want to say here value 0. So basically what we're saying, we want to start at this pixel here, figure out whatever this value is, and convert it into the pixel or calculate the pixel value of that, and that is what I want. This is a built-in Chart.js functionality, very useful. So here for the y, we're basically doing here almost similar, but for the y, because we have this scale here, like different structure, is what we call the category axis. So the category axis has like index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's no values here, but that index will define the exact center here. That will make, or at least the center between the bars here. So that will be very useful for us. So what we can say here for now, copy this, and just say here for the y value, value 0. And later on I will show you some demos. So then for the width, for now, I'm going to say here 20 pixels, height, let's say 15 pixels for now, and then the radius, I'll just leave it on 0. And later on you can see what will happen if I say ctx dot fill style to give it a color. Fill style should be equal this. Let's say here black. Let's make it black for now. So then I'm going to say here ctx dot fill to draw the shape. Save, refresh. Now we have one here, and this is index 0. That would mean the very first one is at the top. That is correct, not down, because this one here at the top is number 5. So that makes sense, of course. So what we can do here, let's make this 10 and see what will happen. If I do this 10, we have this rounded border. Beautiful. That looks very nice. So what we can do now is let's start to look at the width. I realized that probably we should have the labels first. So what I will do is I will continue in the next video with the labels, and then we use some parts of that and apply that on our background color. So that will be the next video.